I'm Will Craver from the Human Resources Department here at Dixie State University. And I want to talk to you a little bit about the staff performance evaluation. And this is just a small training. We'll get through this in no time. Thank you. What I would suggest is that you have copies of the following documents available during this presentation. That will be your core competencies, your staff evaluation form, the rating system, and the staff evaluation form. You can also go to the Dixie homepage on the faculty and staff, human resources, employee relations, and staff evaluation that would get you there. Performance evaluations. As part of a performance management system, a performance appraisal is a review, a discussion, and an assessment of an employee's performance of assigned duties and responsibilities. A performance evaluation is a tool to help enhance the efficiency of an organizational unit and an employee through effective utilization. To be accurate and fair, performance appraisals must be honest and uniformly applied measurement. Communication about position requirements and fulfillment of those requirements is very essential. Fairness, very important. A major concern of employees is that they are evaluated fairly. Significance can't be overestimated. Important to the outcomes of each evaluation and the success of the institutional program. And fairness is defined as objective standards equally applied to all employees and equal treatment of all employees. For a successful process, supervisors can do the following: make fairness a priority, openly discuss your approach to fairness with all employees, demonstrate fairness of all the process without discussing other employees' evaluations or performances, allow employees to ask questions about fairness, be willing to reflect about your application of objective standards equally and equal treatment of employees. Establish standards across organizational structures, very important. What are the benefits of evaluation? Properly applied as one method of communication between a supervisor and an employee, a performance appraisal can do the following: provide a forum for an exchange of ideas, promote personal growth and achievement, increase job satisfaction, evaluate progress, identify training and development opportunities, recognize growth and achievement, establish goals, which is very critical, enhance performance and motivation. You always want to do those things. Why do we evaluate our employees? A regular review can help give supervisors a better picture of an employee's abilities, application of those abilities, perspectives, and goals. Properly done, a performance review can improve not only employee performance, but an employee's understanding and attitude towards his or her job. It can also, we have those evaluations to reestablish a connection between each employee's position and fulfillment of the university mission. Recognize excellent performance, reinforce good performance, identify areas where improvement or correction is needed, focus employees and supervisors on each employee's position, fulfill institutional accreditation requirements, and align employee and institutional goals. Again, it's very critical. What are the purpose of evaluations? Well, let's look at it from a supervisor's perspective. Represents the university in required assessment process, formal communications with employee. Supervising, as you know, is part of his or her responsibilities, and annual reviews give substance to less formal communications that should occur throughout the year. Willingness to spend the time and effort required to complete a constructive, thorough, and objective evaluation shows each employee that he or she is an important part of the unit's overall performance. Part of a supervisor's performance evaluation assesses his or her annual evaluations of subordinate employees. From the employee perspective, being accountable for the public trust inherent in working for a public institution. Reflection, honest communications, and an earnest response to constructive suggestions demonstrate willingness to work toward continued program and personal improvement. Renewed focus on role, essential functions, and goals. Alignment of alignment of individual goals with an institutional mission and objectives. Performance management cycle. Immediate concerns would be day-to-day intervention focusing on the present. Inadequate performance or unacceptable work behavior must be handled in a timely manner. Formative evaluation. Monthly or quarterly exchange focusing on recent past and immediate future. Less formal, but still planned and intentional, creates more successful relationships and better outcomes, and that's what we want. Summative evaluation, annual feedback focusing on past performance and future goals, insufficient for management by itself. The evaluation process. Each non-probationary full-time staff employee will complete a self-evaluation each year prior to the performance evaluation. That's hard for some of us to do, but we need to do that. Each non-probationary full-time staff employee will receive a complete performance evaluation each year to be performed during the months of November, December, and January. A face-to-face meeting will be conducted as part of each performance evaluation. The employee will be given the opportunity to reply to the evaluation in writing. The performance evaluation requires the approval of the next level supervisor. Completed evaluation forms will be submitted to the Human Resources Office no later than January 30th. Schedule of evaluations. Before November 1st, supervisors will remind each employee to complete the required self-evaluation. November, December, and January, supervisors will review each employee's self-evaluation. Supervisors will complete a supervisory evaluation for each employee, conferring with his or her supervisors as needed. Supervisors will also schedule a face-to-face meeting with each employee, given at least 1 week's notice before the meeting. Supervisor and employee will meet for a discussion about the supervisor's evaluation of the employee's performance. We'll also schedule evaluation meetings according to department needs. Employee will be given up to 2 working days to respond in writing to the supervisor's evaluation. The supervisor's next level supervisor will review and approve the evaluation. The self-evaluation and the supervisor's evaluation forms, along with the employee response, if any, will be submitted to the Human Resources Office by January 30th. Legal concerns. Each evaluation must accurately and honestly reflect each individual's performance. Don't ignore weak or inadequate performance because it can impact your Legal concerns. Each evaluation must accurately and honestly reflect each individual's performance. Do not ignore weak or inadequate performance because it can impact your and the institution's ability to manage this employee and other employees as well. Base evaluation on performance of requirements and job descriptions or as needed assigned. No. Let's cut all that out. Thank you. Here we go. Legal concerns. Each evaluation must accurately and honestly reflect each individual's performance. Don't ignore weak or inadequate performance because it can impact your and the institution's ability to manage this employee and other employees. Base evaluation on performance of requirements in the job description or as otherwise assigned. Evaluate performance behavior, and work results, not personality or attitude. Evaluation should reflect the entire review period, including variances within that time. Document facts with specific examples. Use objective standards applied across multiple positions that are not conditioned on an employee's status in any way, i.e., race, gender, age, veteran status, disability, etc. Requirements and expectations equal standards. Each position has duties and requirements that must be fulfilled. Each supervisor has expectations as to how each of those duties and requirements should be fulfilled. These are the standards for performance. The performance evaluation process involves establishing and communicating those standards. Objective standards for each performance measure must be established. These standards should be the following: directly related to the outcomes, the same across positions for all employees, plus results equals performance. Employee performance is comprised of an employee's behavior and the results or outcome of those behaviors. Performance is not personality or attitude, although performance can be impacted by those factors. Focus on performance and use specific examples. Apply objective standards to performance. Review previous evaluations. If the employee has received an annual or probationary performance evaluation within the last 3 years, refer to that. Include previously established goals. If the employee has not received such an evaluation, then begin with the position description. If goals were not previously established, skip that section for this year and focus on core competencies. Create SMART goals for next review cycle. Analyze performance. Analyze objective standards and employees' performance to identify gaps. Ascertain the cause of each gap. Process or system: insufficient resources, insufficient time, lack of support, unattainable goal, or individual or personal, lack of skills, needed training, specific behaviors, underperformance. Determine a method or methods of removing gaps between standards and performance. Core competencies. The ad hoc committee focused on a model based on core competencies, a set of demonstrated skills and behaviors deemed essential to fulfilling the university mission. The previous evaluation system focused largely on the quality and quantity of an individual's work, but the committee wanted to go beyond the job description and assess additional qualities the university needs in its employees. The committee aggregated the core competencies into 8 areas that apply to all staff members. Each area includes a variety of characteristics that should be used to assess the employee's contribution, strengths, and areas of improvement. Both employees and supervisors are asked to use the core competencies in the evaluation process, so the entire organization is basing evaluations on the same standard. The committee expects that most employees will have strengths and weaknesses in different competency areas, and even within a single competency area. The content of the core competencies will be evaluated each year, and it's expected that revisions will be made on a regular basis. Your input is welcome as part of that process. Each competency can be turned into a question to assess an employee's performance. Does the employee? Is the employee? 8 core competencies. The 8 areas of competency selected by the committee are as follows: quality and quantity of work, initiative and problem solving, knowledge, serving others, communications, teamwork, time and resources, safety and security. First core competency: quality and quantity of work. That evaluates work output. This competency is based on the essential functions of the employee's job descriptions with evaluation formed by applying professional standards, focusing on the following: an employee's proficiency in producing work, the level, quantity, and quality of work, meeting established deadlines and schedules. Also, additional elements include thoroughness, accuracy, efficiency, and attention to detail. Independent work without the need of constant supervision. If the employee's job description does not reflect current duties, this evaluation process is an excellent opportunity to request changes. Rating uneven criteria. Does an employee have to demonstrate strength in every aspect of each competency to have a high rating in that area? Examples: employee meets established deadlines, but does not demonstrate appropriate attention to detail. Or employee demonstrates accuracy, but does not work independently. Rating uneven criteria continued. The committee chose the competencies because they believe represent skills and behaviors required of all staff, all employees, and in all positions at Dixie State University. If an employee demonstrates strength in one part of the competency and weakness in another, the supervisor should discuss and document both the strength and the weaknesses. Average the score for both to determine rating for that competency area. Second, competency initiative and problem solving. That examines the ability to think critically and take appropriate action. The committee believes that each employee needs to demonstrate appropriate initiative for DSU to fulfill its mission. This includes seeking additional responsibilities as time permits, adapting to students to new situations and changes. Each employee is likewise charged with improving efficiency. Is the employee receptive to new ideas? Does the employee contribute new ideas, methods, processes, and procedures? Does he or she take or recommend effective action? Initiative and problem solving. Problem solving and decision making are required in all positions. In this and other competencies, the employee should be evaluated based on actual demonstrated behaviors. Does the employee understand and respond to problems perceived by others? Appropriately gather and evaluate relevant information? Identify key issues? Develop a course of action to address issues in a timely manner? Involve other parties as appropriate? Seek assistance and direction when necessary. All criteria in a competency area? Does an employee need to meet all the criteria in a core competency category? Again, the committee chose competencies they believe represent skills and behaviors required of all staff employees in all positions at DSU. For example, if an employee demonstrates strong problem-solving abilities, yet weakness in initiative, the supervisor should discuss and document both the strength and the weakness, average the score for both to determine the rating for initiative and problem-solving. Our third competency, knowledge, assesses effort to remain current and increase knowledge and skills. This section requires an employee to possess, apply, maintain currency in, and use the following in his or her job: information, methods, skills and techniques, technology, policies, and procedures. An employee is also asked to stay informed about new developments in his or her own role in the department and the university. As a corollary to maintaining knowledge, an employee is also evaluated on welcoming and applying feedback, identifying one's own strengths and weaknesses, working to emphasize strengths and improve weaknesses, participating in training and education to improve job-related skills, knowledge, competencies, and abilities. Our fourth competency, serving others, considers behavior and attitude toward external and internal customers and colleagues. The committee felt strongly that serving our internal and external customers, including students, faculty, other staff, community leaders, and others, is essential to DSU's success. Questions to ask when evaluating an employee's customer service include whether the employee uses good service techniques across formats, is courteous, empathetic, and friendly, support and appropriately represent the university, responds accurately and promptly, improves processes to improve service. The university's mission statement values diversity. As such, an employee must adapt to different personalities, communication styles, and cultures. They should behave respectfully toward and value individual differences, build a climate of openness and inclusiveness, support a diverse environment throughout the university. In addition, an employee is asked to collect input from customers and identify action plans to improve service to internal and external customers. Our fifth core competency, communication, measures effectiveness in communicating with others. An employee must demonstrate professional communication in all formats with a variety of people, including responding in a timely manner and requesting clarification as needed. An employee must consult with others who will be impacted by an action or decision, including providing information and fostering information sharing. Finally, each employee must project a professional appearance and attitude. Teamwork. Teamwork engages successes at working collaboratively. Everyone's job at the university requires working with others in formal and informal teams. Supervisors are asked to rate each employee on working cooperatively, understanding interrelationships between dissimilar department functions and different departments, striving to improve team processes and functions, and valuing group successes as well as individual achievements. To work as a member of a team, an employee must respond appropriately to criticism and suggestions, accept supervision and direction, demonstrate flexibility in scheduling and work assignments to meet department needs, actively participate in meetings, exhibit leadership within a team, assist or direct colleagues through cohesive action, to provide information to others. Also, an employee must also manage conflict, develop resolutions, and seek collaborative solutions. Our seventh core competency, time and resources, appraises use of work time and university resources. An employee demonstrates punctuality and reliability and documents any absences. The employee must be personally accountable and responsible for self and work output. An employee's ethical standards and trustworthiness are exemplified by using work time for work activities, focusing on department and university goals, planning and prioritizing work, establishing priorities, using our organizational skills, appropriately caring for and maintaining university property and equipment. Our last core competency, safety and security, considers attention to physical safety and information security. Under safety, we should be maintaining a safe work environment, adhering to safety rules and policies, participating in accident prevention, meeting health, safety, and physical security requirements. Security, we should be maintaining information security and confidentiality, maintaining a secure work environment, and adhering to information security requirements and policies. Are there exceptions? What if a competency or a criteria within a competency doesn't apply to a particular employee? The committee selected the competencies and the criteria within them in the belief that these apply to all DSU employees. The only exception may be safety and security, where not all positions have both responsibilities. In that case, the supervisor should document which criteria is being applied, whether it's safety or security, and that the other doesn't apply. Documentation. The core competencies explain what is expected of each employee. Each staff employee's performance is documented on at least okay. Documentation. The core competencies explain What is expected of each employee? Each staff employee's performance is documented on at least an annual basis in self-evaluation, supervisor evaluation, employee response, next level supervisor review and approval. All forms are available on the DSU's homepage, Human Resources, and under Forms. Staff self-evaluation form is to be completed by employee prior to supervisor evaluation. Supervisor should use self-evaluation to assess employees' understanding of position, responsibilities, and performance, and to inform the supervisor evaluation. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. It's a lot of stop and go. Staff evaluation form to be completed by employee prior to supervisor evaluation. Supervisors should use self-evaluation to assess employees' understanding of position, responsibilities, and performance, and to inform the supervisor evaluation. The form can be expanded. Employees can use a list or a paragraph format as they choose, and additional documents can be attached. Most important duties. Does employees' perception align with job description? Staff self-evaluation form. Accomplishments should be related to previous year's goals if and when those are implemented. Until then, used to access employees' perception of own performance. The next three sections ask an employee to assess his or her own strengths, weaknesses, call areas for growth, and future goals using core competencies and/or competency criteria. An important section asks an employee to share what the institution can do to help them accomplish his or her goals, i.e., training, equipment, software, assistance, etc. Changes to job description. An up-to-date job description is essential for employees, supervisors, and the institution. An employee is asked to suggest revisions to their job description to be reviewed by the supervisor. Supervisor can submit suggested changes to job descriptions as part of supervisor evaluation, which will be reviewed for applicability to the staff position's grade. Job descriptions are available on the HR web page under compensation. Supervisor evaluation. The supervisor is expected to use an employee's self-evaluation as data in the supervisor evaluation, but to formulate assessments and ratings based on the supervisor's experiences and observations throughout the evaluation period. The supervisors and employee should refrain from discussing each other's employees as much as possible during the evaluation process, focusing instead on the employee being evaluated only. The staff annual review form is located on the HR website under Forms. Under the new rating system, the committee developed a new expanded rating system to be used in supervisor evaluations, available on the HR webpage. The available ratings are 5 exemplary, consistent exemplary performance that far exceeds goals, expectations, and requirements throughout the rating period due to exceptionally high quality of work performed in all areas that are essential areas of responsibility, and an extraordinary or unique contribution in support of department goals or the university mission. The exceptional or the unique contribution must be specifically identified by the supervisor. 4, highly effective. Performance frequently and consistently exceeds goals, expectations, and requirements in all essential areas. Continue with number 3, proficient. Performers consistently met goals, expectations, and requirements in all essential areas of responsibilities, at times possibly exceeding expectations, and the quality of work overall was very good. Most annual goals and all essential goals were fulfilled during that period. And 2, improvement needed. Performers did not consistently meet goals, expectations, and requirements. Performers failed to meet expectations or requirements in some areas of responsibility. and or one or more goals were not met. A 2 rating on a specific section of an employee's performance evaluation strongly suggests that supervisor and employee should discuss specific methods the employee can use to improve performance. And 1, unsatisfactory, performance was consistently below goals, expectations, and or requirements in most areas of responsibility, and or reasonable progress toward goals was not made. Significant improvement is needed in one or more areas. A 1 rating on one or more specific portions of an employee's performance evaluation requires the supervisor and the employee to develop a plan for improving that performance. An overall 1 rating requires a writing development plan to correct performance, including timelines, which must not exceed 120 days, which must be submitted to the Human Resources Office within 30 days of evaluation date and must be monitored to measure progress. Follow-up report must be submitted to HR not more than 120 days from date of development plan. Core competency ratings. In the supervisor evaluation, supervisors will assign a rating of 1 to 5 to each competency area. Specific information should support each rating. Supervisors are not limited in how many employees can receive an exemplary rating of 5 in one or more core competency areas, but they're limited in how many employees can receive an overall rating of exemplary 5. Competency area ratings must support an employee's overall rating. The 10% limit. The committee established a limit of the number of full-time employees who can receive an overall exemplary 5 rating. A 10% limit applies at each level of supervision. If a unit has fewer than 10 employees, the supervisor should consult with the next level supervisor to determine eligibility for the exemplary rating, which would have to be shared with other supervisory units. Staff Evaluation Annual Review Form. The supervisor evaluation, like the self-evaluation form, is expandable when more space is needed. The supervisor documents the evaluation on this form beginning with requested changes to the employee's job description. The previous year's goals are listed. Performance on the prior year's goals is evaluated in the next section. Results of the goal, successes, or issues that arose should be documented. If no goals have been created in the past, skip this section and focus on core competencies and creating goals for the next evaluation period. The 8 core competency areas follow in order exactly as they appear on the core competency document. A rating 1 through 5 based on our rating system is assigned for each area. Supervisor comments and or suggestions for improvement should support each area's numerical rating. Note strengths and or weaknesses in each area to justify ratings. Additional competency areas. 2 additional competency areas are required for an employee who has supervisory responsibilities for 3 or more full-time employees. And this can be used for an employee who supervises, including completing annual reviews for 1 or more employees, but it is not required. Management responsibilities. That area is used for an employee with budgetary authority or a duty to supervise major projects or large resources. Supervisor competency criteria, which judges performance of supervisory responsibilities. The committee felt strongly that a supervisor's performance of his or her supervisory duties should be a significant portion of that employee's evaluation. Supervisors will be evaluated on their performances, selecting qualified employees in the hiring process, training and leading personnel, furthering diversity and equal opportunity, demonstrating understanding of employees' work responsibilities, defining clear expectations for employees, and helping employees develop professionally. Conducting accurate performance evaluations, providing a shared vision and fostering teamwork, establishing meaningful goals and prioritizing units' workload, and delegating responsibilities effectively, enforcing rules and policies fairly, responding to poor employee performance, and continuing to develop as a leader and supervisor, including training and achieving their own individual goals. Management competency criteria indicates ability to manage projects, budgets, and resources. The committee recognizes the importance of appropriate management of physical resources and believes that employees charged with those responsibilities should be appropriately evaluated on those facets of their job duties, particularly demonstrates honesty, integrity, and respect for university resources, and develops realistic and accurate budgets and monitoring the unit's fiscal activities. They should also be concerned with initiating change and improvement in methods and procedures, should be staying current with training and anticipated needs, plans for current and forthcoming needs in budget, space, staff, supplies, equipment, etc. Advocates for units' needs with administration, oversees utilization of units' resources, maintains and improves service levels, effectively controls unit work and projects while ensuring product and service meet customer needs. Lastly, understands and supports the university policies and institutional decisions. Goals. Developing goals for the next calendar year is an important part of the evaluation process. Supervisor is responsible for assigning goals with meaningful discussions and input from the employee. Goals should not detail daily duties. Goals should set priorities. Goals should define larger challenges that the employee will work toward during the year. Additional pages or a worksheet can be used for goals. SMART goals. Goals should follow the SMART model by being specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. A worksheet for developing and tracking SMART goals with your employee is available on the Human Resources website under Forms. S for specific, defines specific results and includes concrete information about what will be accomplished. Goals should be precise and clear. Don't be too broad. Be clear. Don't be ambiguous. Include what will be done, how it will be done, and why it will be done. For example, develop a new staff evaluation program based on a core competency model to include both a self-evaluation and an annual supervisory evaluation. Measurable. Include a method of determining whether the goal was accomplished. Often quantifiable, how much, how many, when. Use concrete objective criteria such as behavior, and it can include measurement instrument such as a budget, a survey, a spreadsheet, or the documentation. As an example, the new evaluation program will receive formal approval from the staff associations and university administrators. A survey will assess feedback from both employees and supervisors after the first year to determine where improvements can be made. A for attainable, the goal should challenge the employee. The goal should be attainable. The goal should challenge the employee. The goal should be ambitious but obtainable, going beyond day-to-day duties. The goal can be performance-based to accomplish a project, developmental to improve or enhance the employee's skills and abilities. Developmental goals should be directly related to core competency areas. A multi-year goal should be broken down into one-year increments for evaluation purposes. For an example, The evaluation program proposal will be based on best practices at other post secondary institutions as well as research published in scholarly journals. Be realistic. The goals should be relevant to the unit's mission. Be realistic for the employee to accomplish within the employee's scope of responsibilities and focus on actual results. If the employee is a supervisor, goals can include the work of other employees who report to him or her. If the employee does not have supervisory authority, goals should not depend extensively on the performance or behavior of others. For example, input from a variety of stakeholders will be sought to create a proposal for an efficient and fair staff employee performance evaluation. Time bound, the goal must have an endpoint. Short term goals, 30 days or less, should have an end date. For example, research will be concluded by November 1st. Now, long term goals, 3 months or more, should have immediate checkpoints. For example, the staff associations will have a draft of the proposal to review by March 1st. University administration will receive the final proposal no later than May 1st. Implementation will take place by June 1st. Evaluating goals during the year includes the supervisor and employee may modify goals during the year. Check on goals at least quarterly, preferably monthly. Things that may affect your ability to achieve a goal could be new or different duties or priorities, new unit goals, staffing changes, lack of expected resources, personal factors. The supervisor and the employee should adjust goals as needed. The supervisor and employee will document any changes and the reasons for them in the next annual review. Overall rating. The supervisor will assign an overall rating 1 through 5 for the entire evaluation. Ratings in the individual competency areas must support the overall rating. Because one competency area may be predominant responsibility in an employee's job description, supervisors are not required to average the area rankings to determine the overall ranking. Also, if an overall ranking is different than the average of the competency area ratings, the supervisor should provide an explanation for the variance in the comments. Work with the next level supervisors to set eligibility for overall exemplary 5 ratings as previously described. It's not about discipline. One problem that can arise in supervisory evaluations can be unintentional. Combining a discussion about a discipline and performance goals is not a good idea. The annual review is ideal for discussing strengths and weaknesses, including assessing previous corrective actions, but it isn't the best venue for instigating new disciplinary concerns. The annual review and the associated face-to-face meeting is not a disciplinary session. Inappropriate behavior must be dealt with when observed using 4-2 corrective and disciplinary action. Common evaluation areas. Issues arise when a supervisor is not aware of potential pitfalls in evaluations that can hamper fairness and impact an employee's perception of fairness in the evaluation process. Excessive leniency. Rating an employee higher than deserved to avoid bad feelings or hoping that an employee will improve performance by growing into the position if praised. Or excessive severity. Rating an employee lower than deserved to motivate the employee or show there is room for improvement. Another common area, centrist tendencies. Rating an employee at or near the middle, 3, or upper middle, 4, to avoid needing to justify ratings. And then there's the halo effect or pitchfork effect, allowing a single strength, weakness, or incident determine the overall rating. Opportunity bias. The employee is credited or blamed for circumstances or factors beyond his or her control. The recency effect. The rating is based on an evaluation of only the recent past, not the entire evaluation period, also known as what have you done for me lately. Another area, length of service bias, giving credit for longevity or institutional knowledge, equating length of time in a position with good performance. Also, rating the position instead of the employee, assigning higher ratings to an employee in a position the supervisor or the institution considers more important or more difficult. Also, the similar to me bias, the tendency of a supervisor to give higher ratings to an employee who are similar to oneself. Schedule. Allow an employee at least 1 week to complete self-evaluation. Schedule the face-to-face meeting at least 1 week in advance. Schedule 30 to 60 minutes for meeting. Allow the employee at least 2 work days to submit written responses to your evaluation. Leave enough time for your supervisor to review and approve prior to sending self-evaluation and supervisor evaluation to HR by January 30th. Prior to face-to-face meetings, supervisors should determine their objective performance standards for each area and prepare to clarify them to your employee. Confer with your supervisor and colleagues as needed to ensure common standards. Rate each core competency area based on those standards and write comments justifying those ratings with examples. Evaluate yourself as a supervisor of this position and make goals and plans for improvement. In the face-to-face meetings, choose a private location. Place the employee at ease. Consider sitting at a table rather than at a desk. Create a relaxed and friendly atmosphere. Very helpful. Talk about core competencies rather than minor details. Avoid ambiguity and abstraction. I'm going to start that over. Ambiguity and abstraction. Okay. Back that up. Face-to-face meeting. Choose a private location. Place the employee at ease. Consider sitting at a table versus sitting at a desk. Create a relaxed and friendly atmosphere. Talk about core competencies rather than minor details. Avoid ambiguity and abstraction. Avoid emotional or negative language. Avoid confrontation or argument, and avoid lecturing. Point out how you have utilized the employee's self-evaluation. Go through your evaluation, discussing each section and the goals you're setting. Share feedback received from others. Listen. Really listen. Ask questions. Don't interrupt the employee. Take notes. Restate the employee's comments to confirm your understanding. Negotiate a resolution or a path going forward. If consensus is not possible, schedule a second meeting in a few days. Building motivation. As stated earlier, performance evaluations can be a key motivator and factor in job satisfaction for employees. To increase this possibility, discuss a limited number of key issues. Don't overload the employee. Avoid surprises. The meetings should be built on communications throughout the year. Relate employees' position and work to fulfilling unit goals and university mission. Point out achievements and strengths, noting progress towards previous goals. Concentrate on constructive suggestions to improve weaknesses rather than criticism. Frame poor performance as opportunities for improvement or growth. Discuss performance and behavior. Do not refer to personality or interpret motives. Avoid discussing personal issues or personal problems. Recognize relevance of employees' point of view to the employee. Ask questions and listen to the answers. Keep an open mind. Discuss poor performance as areas for improvement or growth. Suggest action plan for growth and improvement. Build a plan for the coming months, including when to meet again for informal follow-up. Thank the employee for his or her efforts in support of the university mission. Additional resources you can be found at you can get the evaluation forms from the university's homepage, faculty and staff human resources forms. Also available on the staff evaluation webpage, you can get job descriptions, evaluation flow chart, evaluation checklist, and goals worksheet. Very important documents there. If you have any questions, please contact the Human Resources Office. We'll be more than happy to answer any questions you might have with this process. Thank you very much.